We don't want kids on buses all day long.
Can't hear you.
You need to hold the microphone out.
Okay, I'm sorry, you remind me of that. And keep reminding me, I forget. Okay? Maintaining schools not needy should have a companion recommendation. In other words, if we don't close 4, consolidate, or do whatever with 4 elementary schools, somebody needs to say where that money's going to come from. Because Mrs. Key's already indicated to you, we're $15 million short. I would remind you that we have a $26 million
Hold the microphone.
fund balance as of January 2011. We used $11 million of that last year to balance our budget that just ended. We're using the last $15 million to fund the budget that we just started. Now that means next July, we're going to need $15 million we don't have. We have no reserve, we have no fund balance. And that is where we're trying to come from in this. And I will echo what Mrs. Key said. We have a committee that is duly appointed to examine all of the issues relating to school closings and redistricting. That committee needs to be allowed to look at not only what's on the table now, but if it looks as though it won't work, then they need to have the responsibility and the authority to come back with an alternative recommendation. We have not yet received a cost analysis on the schools, but let me just give you an example of what I'm talking about. One of our smallest schools in the county, for administrative cost, is $2,685 a kid. Inman's is $1,632. That's $1,000 a child difference. We're $15 million short. And there is a sheet that gives you all of that in here. We have also provided a cost analysis for all of the options that we have. And we want you to see that. We also have in it the number of students that will be impacted by each of those alternatives. And we want you to have that. And with that, again, we have not recommended. The superintendent does have a recommendation on the floor. The board did ask for other options. So there have been no recommendation from any other board member that I know of to close any school. It's a matter that's under discussion. And it's a matter that needs to be analyzed and worked on with great detail. I just did a little quick dirty math. And with that $15 million, it would take 20 days, a reduction in the work year and the student day of 20 days to come up with that $15 million. That would result in an overall 10.5% reduction in the pay of everybody on that payroll. For the 190-day people. The 210, it would amount to 9.5. And for the 240-day people, it would only be 8.3. But it is a tremendous thing that we're looking at. Bus drivers, it would cost them 11%. And if you do close, consolidate, not open, for elementary schools, we can save 25% of the cost of running those schools. And with that, I'd just like to end our comments and conversations, and we'll welcome any comments or questions that you have. We'll do our best to answer it. If we cannot, we will provide the answer as quickly as we can get them, and we'll put it back to Mr. Robinson and the PTO folks, and we'll go from there.
Mr. Gilliam? Yeah, my name's Phil Gilliam.
This is mic 3. Mic 3.
Thanks. Yeah, my name's Phil Gilliam, and I had obviously written to the board on the same subject. I have one question, and that question is, why was Inman a brand new school with a high volume of students, nearly 500 students, with a high functioning student body, faculty, and a high quality after school program, ever even put on the school board's list in the first place?
It is there primarily to open the floor to discussion beyond where we are. But let me give you an example of an issue related to schools that are not full. This school has excess capacity. So does Smith, so does, sorry, you all may need to take it to my nose, but so do all of the other schools around us. It is on there purely for discussion. That does not mean that we cannot or should not take it off. It does not mean that we cannot or should not add another school. Our point all along has been the options that have been presented are extremely limited. They do not completely address the issue of school closing. And that's why it's there. Yes, sir.
My first question is, I'm Joe
Excuse me,
Fisher.
My name is Joe Fisher, and first of all, I'd like to thank you for coming down and having a discussion with the concerned parents here. I have two questions. One is, this initial discussion of 4 proposals came about over 3 months ago, and yet Inman was added at the 11th hour last week. And I'd like to know why it took 3.5 months for Inman to come about as part of the dialogue. And to the gentleman's last question, if I'm hearing your answer correctly, wouldn't that open up every school in the county as a proposal?
For the record, Inman didn't come up last Monday night for the first time. The Board of Education and the superintendent represented almost exactly what I have said tonight back in May. There was no discussion.
Well, then I wasn't listed as a proposal on the original.
There was discussion. That's a lie.
It was left off. Let me just tell you that I will produce for you the records on what has happened. You can decide how it got left off. Okay?
Well, I'm asking you, the board met roughly, 6, 7 times before that discussion before, and yet in that 6 or 7 meetings that you all had, it was never resurfaced as, hey, do you think we need to add this since we initially had some words? It was never brought up, right? Simply, it was brought in at the 11th hour last week. That's my perception.
My perception is it was given, we waited for a response, then it was sent out again, waited for a response, had none, and this was the last opportunity before the committee started to work to get it on the table.
So my other question then, if your answer is, hey, we're looking at everybody, why even put names on schools? Why wouldn't you just come out and say, hey, we're evaluating the whole county, right?
That is exactly our point. You have made it for us. That the first question was very simple. Give us a cost analysis. That was the first question that was asked when we started talking about closing the school. We still don't have a complete cost analysis on that.
So then can I expect then, beyond today, to read the paper next week and say, hey, every elementary and middle school in the county is up for grabs? Can I expect to see that?
I doubt it.